Congratulations on your newborn. Unfortunately, like all babies and newborns, they do not come with a manual. As a parent, both new and old, this can be really overwhelming for us because newborns have a lot of cute and also weird things they do that might be confusing and keep us worried. While a lot of these symptoms and behaviors are totally normal, there are some that we're concerned about and generally recommend having your child evaluated for either intervention or just reassurance if you ever see any of those. I'm Dr. Nkeiruka, pediatric ear doctor, and in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 things that are usually not normal in babies, and we recommend having them evaluated to make sure that everything is okay. Persistent fast breathing or prolonged pause in their breathing. Firstly, baby can breathe all over the place. They have a cycle of what we call periodic breathing, which essentially means they go through episodes of fast breathing, normal rate of breathing, and then a pause. This can happen within a 1-minute period. And for babies, it can last up until 6 months of age. So newborns can breathe within 30 to 60 times per minute, and we usually count for minutes to account for those pauses and fast breathing. If your baby is having persistently fast breathing within a minute or more, it's always advised to get them evaluated. Also, the pauses in breathing may last between 5 to 15 seconds, and if your baby is pausing their breathing for more than 15 to 20 seconds, it is advisable to get them evaluated also to make sure there's nothing else going on. Any spit-ups or vomiting that is green. Normally, some babies can have reflux, which essentially means when you feed them, they may spit up some of their food, their formula, or their breast milk. And that's usually normal as long as they're gaining weight. This happens because the sphincter or the valve that leads from the food pipe to the stomach, it's not well yet formed. So that means it's floppy, and sometimes when you feed them, there can be milk or formula coming back up from the stomach to the esophagus, or which is called the food pipe. This reflux is usually the milk, formula, and appears clear or milky or cheesy based on how it's been digested. Vomiting or spit-ups that's green is never normal in babies, and we're usually concerned about obstruction and want them evaluated. And just a quick summary of why we're concerned about vomiting that is green or spit-ups that's green. The human system makes bile in the liver, and then it gets transported down through the intestines, and then we poop it out. If your baby is vomiting green, it means there might be a blockage after the bile is made, and instead of going down, it's coming back up, which is why I mentioned obstruction. So any child that's vomiting green, a newborn of any age, we always want to get them evaluated. Eyes that are swollen shut or eyes that are red. So usually in newborns, within the first couple of weeks, newborns actually cry without tears, and that's because the gland that's responsible for making tears is not well developed. And then after that, when they start making tears, the duct also is sometimes blocked or not fully open. So you may notice your child may be tearing up too much, or you may notice some crust around the eyes. Crying without tears and blocked tear ducts are normal, and blocked tear ducts can actually cure up in most cases, especially when you give them a massage in this area to open up the tear ducts. But if your child has an infection in the eyes or for some reason the blocked duct become worse, they may start developing significantly swollen eyes, or even the conjunctiva inside of the eye start to get red. In older kids and adults, this may be considered mild pink eye or conjunctivitis, but in newborns, we also want to make sure it's not an infected blocked tear duct that needs to be seen by the eye doctors. But if your baby has swollen eyes and red eyes and also has fevers, you definitely want to bring them into the emergency room to get evaluated. Abnormal or persistent jerks or shaking. So shaking and jerks are not uncommon in babies. The pathway that is going through the brain is not fully developed yet, so they tend to have some spontaneous jerking and shakes, one of which we call the startle reflex. You might notice these movements when they are falling asleep, or when they are sleeping, or when they are hungry. As they get older, the brain pathways get more coordinated and these movements start to disappear. A lot of these jerks and shaking do not happen all the time. They may happen and then stop. So if you're noticing your baby having persistent jerks, or they're jerking one part of the body, maybe one arm or one leg versus the other, and doesn't stop, or you pick your baby up to soothe them and they're persistently jerking and not responding to your cues, it is important to get them evaluated by your regular physician. It may still be normal, but evaluating them can tell us if there's anything else we need to do or not. One important tip is because the movements may not necessarily happen when you go into your regular doctor or into the ER, we always recommend recording this episode because looking at the episodes might help us evaluate and say this is what it is or not. It also helps with diagnosis. As much as this might be difficult for parents to do, especially in the moment of being overwhelmed, think about it as being helpful in diagnosing and knowing how best to help your child. Fevers. No level of fevers is normal in babies. With the temperature and the thermometer checked rectally, any temperature above 38 degrees centigrade or 100.4 Fahrenheit is considered a fever, and babies need to be seen in the emergency room for that. And when I talk about newborns, I mean babies who are younger than 2 months of age. I have a different video on fevers in kids who are older than 2 months, and you want to go watch it here. But for any baby, any newborn who's younger than 2 months of age and has a fever, definitely needs to come to the emergency room for evaluation. The reason is newborns at that age are very delicate. Their immune system is not well developed. They are unvaccinated from common bacterial infections. So we're cautious to make sure that one mild infection they get does not progress. Their body also cannot localize another infection to one system versus the other. So once they get in contact with one, it seems to progress and move to the rest of the body. And one of the ones we're most worried about is meningitis. So there are a lot more things that babies do that are totally normal, but these are some of the abnormal ones that I want you to always think about and want you to always watch out for to get your child checked up if you're ever in doubt. Thanks for watching this video. Leave me a comment in the comment section and tell me if you have any questions or experience any of the symptoms or behaviors I talked about. Again, don't forget to subscribe and I will see you in the next video.